How are you, man?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, we're killing it, man. I'm really excited for you guys to be back down here, and yeah, I mean, it's only been a couple of years, but it's always good when there's big bands like yourself not afraid to come down to Australia because I understand it's a massive fucking journey. So we are so keen for you guys to be back here for your 25th.
Yeah, it's a big. Luckily, I mean, our singer has lived there for about 10 years now. So for him, it's easy, which is the big joke because now for us, we're going to be all jet lagged, and he's usually the jet lagged one. So
Mm. Yeah, I was
very
actually
exciting.
yeah, I was going to ask about Bert and the Australian connection because many years ago I remember playing in like my little mini band that I had. We played with these guys who were kind of like I don't know, metalcore sort of thing. They're metalcore emo, and they were like, "Oh, hey, so Bert McCracken from the Used is like he's like gonna mentor us and help us like, record music and like all this other stuff." And we're like, "Dude, that's fucking awesome." Like, how did it happen? And he was just like, "Oh yeah, apparently he's like looking after some Australian bands." And then I think this was just on the precipice of him moving to Australia, and that whole thing was just so weird. I was like, "What? How did you guys get hooked up with Bert McCracken?" It was just crazy. So now he's living here.
Yeah, he's been there for a bit. He loves it. I get it. Hey, if you know any way to get citizenship for the rest of the band, help us out. Get us out of America as quick as we can.
It's
Side
like
note.
that, is it?
Y-
Well, not yet, but we're always weary. It's getting there.
We'll talk to our boss for you, and we'll see if we can get you some gigs here on the radio, so we can, get you sorted
Hey,
out.
there we go. Yeah,
Yeah,
you guys may need us. That's it. You need us.
that's I've always said that.
Yeah,
Hey,
see?
25 years, have you guys had the chance to sort of sit back and reflect yet, or has it sort of all been go, go, go? Because I remember, I saw you guys, and JD's going to hate me mentioning this because I bring up this concert so many times, but Taste of Chaos back in 2005, and that was such an all-star lineup. It was you guys, Story of the Year, Funeral for a Friend, like Parkway Drive were there in their sort of infancy, Killswitch Engage. It was absolutely huge, and that was like my
That's
peak
right. That's
the
right.
used days, like rocking out to, Fire in Your Eyes and Take It Away is one of my absolute all-time favorite songs. So, have you had the chance to sit back and go, wow, 25 years of this absolute beast?
Actually, so it's funny you said that. This year has been the time that we've sat back, because so we already did the first leg of the run, which was, first the US run, which kind of jumped into the second half. What are you eating over here, dude? Um, it jumped into the second half, which kind of went to UK and Europe and stuff. And that whole time it was sort of a reflection. So when we play shows, every single show we play, we rehearse the entire show before we play it. So
Wow.
if we're going to play an hour, if we're going to play an hour and a half, we play an hour and a half before that, straight. So that whole time we're kind of just goofing off, but we're also going through the motions just because we want to, just get in the same vibe together. And if there's a mistake to be made, it's going to be made there. And we also, mistakes are important. So it's better to make a mistake as many times as you can so you know where the mistake is so you can kind
Mhm.
of clean it up and fix it. And so we doing that and being able to just kind of hang out like we always do backstage. And since this is such a important tour for us in so many ways because of the 25 years, it's been nice to just talk about these and reflect, like you were saying, and kind of talk about these songs and talk about like the 25 years of us doing it. And we're still going and we haven't stopped and we haven't taken like a break and we haven't like broken up. We've just figured it out and kept going. And it's like you said, it's kind of awesome, man. It's kind of incredible. 25 years is insane for a band. I mean, it happens. I'm not saying we're the craziest band in the world or anything, but it's been
No,
great for us.
it's definitely an achievement, and like you said, I mean, you've gone through lineup changes. You guys didn't break up. You just figured it out. I mean, was there a point in that sort of 25-year scope where you thought maybe this is coming to an end?
I never fully felt that. Obviously, I was worried for many things. We've had addiction problems, we've had member problems, we've had changes, and things and lifestyles and stuff. And I never had a worry to being like, this is it, it's over. But definitely had worries on like how are we going to get through this or how can we fix this problem or what is going to happen you
Yeah.
know because there's some scary things that can happen and
Do
trying
you
to
feel like
reflect on it and figure it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you feel like the hardest one is it's always the people? Because like, if you don't get on with the band and if there's a problem there is then what? Is that what you feel like is if you can manage, if you're playing with your friends, if everybody gets on, then everything's kosher? Or do you feel like it was like label stuff or touring pressures or?
I think people, obviously, because I mean,
Yeah.
you can't help it. Everyone goes through emotions and everyone goes through problems, and everyone has, misplaced anger is a big deal, like, because being mad at someone, but not really mad at them, you're mad at someone else, or bringing up things that don't really matter, and making that something just because you have problems in your life in different areas are really tough to deal with, and I'm not just saying in the band, I'm just saying in general, this is like a, problem I've noticed in general about friends and humans, and having that in mind, and having also like people that you really don't know until you're pretty much married to them is really intense, because you really don't know someone until you've been a friend with them for what, like 10 years, maybe, you know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. Especially on a tour
Yeah,
bus with them for 10 years.
especially on a tour bus. And so sometimes like quirks come out real quick, and we trust and live with a crew of, ultimately we travel with 13 people. And out of those 13 people, we have to trust them 100%, and we never tell people how to do their job. We tell people to do their job the way they think it should be done, so like our lighting guy, we want him to do the lights the way that he thinks the lights should look for the used, like we're not trying to micromanage. We hired them because we like their abilities, and that much trust is a big deal, so you're touring with these people and you're trusting them fully in every way in what they do. And the whole show as a whole is because of all 13 people. Each person is equal in this sense, and sometimes that gets a little complicated when people start either, getting ahead of themselves, or mentally, are in the wrong headspace, or maybe ego, because ego is a problem all the way around in life with humans. And, I'm saying that like I'm not a human, but you know what I'm saying? Like you weird humans, but
Yeah.
in general, ego is a crazy thing, and you have to check yourself constantly, no matter what job you do and how you do it.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Are you finding, especially at the moment, maybe the last couple of years, the thirst for, I guess, nostalgia is at an all-time high. Like I was 14 when In Love and Death came out, and I'm just as excited to see it again. Like, the hit singles from that in a couple of months' time when you guys are down here. And bands like Yellow Card are making their comeback. Blink 182 seen a bit of a resurgence with everything going on. Movies are constantly getting rebooted as well. So are you finding that those people you spoke to, like me, at when I was 14, are the same people coming to your shows now and just like enjoying it just as much, if not more, these days?
Yeah, man, exactly what you said. I mean, I'm seeing like there's like three different generations of humans that I'm seeing at the shows, like the ones like you were talking about, the ones that grew up with us from the beginning, and then there's like a generation that caught us a little bit after that. I guess you could almost say each record has a generation that kind of followed us. And every fan loves a certain record. That's their record.
Mm.
Like something happened. Like I have a really good friend who's a tattoo artist of mine, and he didn't catch us until the Canyon, which is interesting. He
Oh,
didn't actually listen to us till that later in life, but that record hit with him so hard because of everything that was going on in his life. And he's a really good friend, but that record for him meant so much to him that he like had a big talk with me. He's like, this is like monumental, this record in my life, and here's the reasons why. You know what I mean? But it's interesting, like you were just saying, how those things happen. Also, like fans reconnecting with the music, listening to again 10 years later and coming back to it and being like, that's why I like this record. Or even like, sorry, I'm blabbing. So all these words are just coming
no,
out of my
dude.
mouth.
Yeah, I love
Tell
it.
me to
Yeah.
shut the fuck up, dude. Shut
No,
up.
no, no.
Um, also, like you said, fans, kids, are coming out to shows. And so we have family of fans that are coming out and seeing us for the first time, or just reconnecting with us, or connecting with something that their parents liked in some ways, which is really interesting to feel this.
Yeah, I guess it's something that I've always found interesting to think about too, because when you go and see a band that you've liked for a long time, there's always this feeling of if you're an old head, you're kind of excited to hear the old music, but then there's there's people whose first exposure to the band or your band might have been, 2015 or something like that. And that's the old album for them because that's the one that they grew up with. So they have this like nostalgia that's linked to that release that came out in the 2010s rather than the thing that came out in the early 2000s. So all these people have like the most profound connection with all these different pieces in your history. And I guess it's just a testament to the fact that you've brought out albums for so long. You didn't take a hiatus and then not put stuff out for like, a 15, 20-year period. You've got stuff that's like kept going. It's always had that poignant sort of I guess like emotional connection for people. And so therefore like I guess every song on the set list is gonna mean something to someone, So you have that like I guess niche because you just kept on connecting.
It stopped. We're still touring,
Yeah, yeah,
which is
yeah.
good. I mean, I can't do anything else. And I love, like I said, we're all best friends and it's so much fun to be able to hang out with my best friends. Like me going on tour is to be able to hang out with like a super close family. It's really exciting. And so maybe that's the big reason why we haven't broken up is that we really care about each other and we love hanging out.
Mm. Yeah, and I guess well then on that the next thing that comes out, which is, there's something, right? There's something cooking.
We're working on stuff slightly.
Yeah.
It's been a little difficult because of time and timing. And obviously Bert lives in Australia, so that makes it a little complicated.
Mm.
But when we're on tour, we always have like riffs and ideas and we'll write it down and save it. And we're just letting it cook a little bit. Hopefully next year, we're going to get really serious. By the end of this year, I think we're going to get more and more serious. And I think next year, we're going to try and record something,
Mm.
come up with some ideas a little bit stronger, maybe get something solidified.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. So
Yeah.
with Bert being in Australia, what's the writing process for you guys like? Is it sort of like a upload files thing and, he can just drop some stuff over some like, instrumentals, or do you write when you're on tour together, or how's that feel?
He flies out.
Right.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah. Bert's in the
Keeping it
States
real.
more than he is in Australia.
Wow.
Even
He
though he
has
lives there,
serious
he's
Qantas
definitely in the
points.
States. Yeah, dude, for real though. Yeah. Exact platinum. Yeah, no, he doesn't stop flying usually. Um, we do write a lot on tour and the last two records we did in the studio, because obviously COVID was going on. So we did a lot of studio recording for that and studio writing. Um, which worked out really well actually. And Bert does really good under pressure. So it all depends really. And I'm not really sure about this record. We're gonna see. I think the best thing to do is get riffs down, get ideas down, and just start emailing to him and have him just sit in his car. Because Bert writes, I'm speaking for him right now, but he seems to write the best when he's in a car driving, when he's
Mm.
actually driving by himself and sitting on a road. Because he can sit and think and he can sit and think about words and melodies. You know what it's like? I learned this recently too. A lot of people, maybe musicians do this. I know I do. When you're not fully focused on something and you're kind of semi-focused on something, you can pull out ideas a little bit easier than being fully focused on something where there's so much pressure going on,
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're like driving or like walking and like humming something, or like Bert driving a car and like kind of coming up with an idea, it's a little easier to focus on something and not over focus. If I'm wording that
Yeah,
correctly, you know what I'm
100%.
saying?
Yeah.
It's the classic
Yeah.
shower thoughts gear, or maybe like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
You wake up, think, oh, that's an amazing idea. Then you actually look at it the cold light of day, it's pissed.
Right.
But
Yeah. They
yeah,
also,
100%.
totally.
If you're
Let's talk
thinking
about
about
people
thinking,
showering, like you said.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Thinking
it's
without thinking. Too bad you can't do that and play guitar or bass while you're driving.
Yeah, invent that and then and then you'll
Yeah, there we go.
live a
That's a
life.
good
Yeah.
idea.
oh man, it must be 25 years and you are still selling out shows. Like I'm looking at this list here and you've had to add more shows and they're selling out. So that must be a really good feeling as well. Like all these shows you've got coming up across August and leaking into September. It's a
Yeah,
credit to you
man.
guys and where you're at.
It's really exciting. I mean, I think the whole 99% of the US one sold out. We have another secondary US leg coming up. I wish you could do a secondary Australian leg, but I guess we're going to be there long enough.
Mm.
But
Man,
still,
three sold out shows at the Tivoli here in Brisbane is it's a formidable feat, man. It's something that not a lot of bands get to do, especially even
uh,
local bands in Australia that like have the crowd here, that are touring
wow,
all the time. So coming over here and selling out the Tivoli 3 nights in a row is awesome, man. Like it's a real feat, and it speaks a lot
that's
to
cool.
to the desire and
Yeah,
the love for you guys over here.
man, that's really cool. I really appreciate all that. We love our fans. We love anyone that cares about any of it, it's exciting. People that don't even like us, I mean, I'm still going to try to be friends with you. I don't really care. But if you come to the show, that's going to be really cool.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be so awesome. And I guess like for the live shows, is there anything that you're planning to do at the anniversary that's gonna be a bit different, like any sort of B-sides or maybe mashups or things that you're gonna throw in, like little elements here and there?
Yeah, each record has something kind of special to it. We're mostly just playing the record as is, but the first record we're definitely playing Choke Me. The second record, I can't remember what we're doing. The third record, we're playing a B-side because the third record. So each fan, like I was saying, has their own favorite record, and especially the first three have such divided love for some of our fans, and the third one has more diehard feel than the first two in some ways, and so the third, since it has more of a diehard feel, we added a B-side to it that is more for the diehards.
Mm,
And so if you really are a used fan, we play a song called Pain. At least we have been. So I'm thinking it's going to keep up. We haven't had
nice.
too much conversation about what we're playing, but I'm pretty sure we're playing the exact same way and the exact same things. But we've been playing Pain on the third night, which is one of my favorite B-sides. Top
Hell yeah.
top five favorite B-sides. And it did really well. It should have been on the record, I still think. But
Well, on Spotify, it's listed as like the last track on the album. It's right down the very bottom. So you really got to stick through it to
see,
get there. Yeah.
so here's the thing is so depending on how you got this record, it was either on the record or it wasn't. So
Okay.
if you bought it on iTunes back in the day, I think it came free with iTunes. But if you didn't, a lot of people don't get it. But maybe since you guys are looking at Australian Spotify, maybe it comes with Australian Spotify. So
Hey.
a lot of the used fans didn't get this record, and so it was like they had to search for it, or
At the
if they bought the
LimeWire.
record, yeah, something interesting. So the
Yeah.
diehards in the States were like, what? You know,
Yeah, yeah, hell yeah. I mean, look, we always love getting little special bits and pieces for an Australian tour, and man, honestly, it's going to be so sick having you guys down under. It's going to be a massive run of dates. The weather's going to be starting to get warm. There's no better time to be here than in spring. It's going to be sick. I'm sure Bert can tell you all about that. But yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be awesome, man. And yeah, honestly, for anyone who was lucky enough to get tickets, they're going to be totally stoked. And anything you're planning on doing while you're down under, like any things that you're wanting to cross off the Australian bucket list that you might not have done yet?
I have a friend that's going to tattoo me in Adelaide. I think he's from Melbourne though. He is from Melbourne actually. He's flying out to Adelaide to tattoo, which is really cool. Uh, let's see. What haven't I done down there? Food. I'm always excited for food. I'm vegan, and you guys have so much good vegan food, so I'm really excited about that. I've never been there for that long, so I think I'm just excited to have a hotel room and wander and get food and meet some people and check out bats because I fucking love bats. It'll be a lot of fun for me.
I just
Hopefully, I can
cleaned some
pet one, which is
I,
not going to happen, but
I cleaned some bat shit off my car this morning before I came in here, so
of
that,
course
that
you
was
did.
yeah, we're surrounded by them, so
Yeah, it's prime bat season
Uh,
at the moment, man.
yeah.
even
Mate,
better. Okay.
we can't wait to have you. There's still some tickets available for Queensland shows and various shows around the country through Destroy All Lines. Jeff and mate, thanks so much. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we cannot wait to see you guys again.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully, I can meet you there.